Eberflus saw that they were off track and there was dysfunction. He should have called timeout.
I think we handled it the right way. Didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
They ain't cut. Yes, they did.
But I don't think we huddled. We just got right back on the ball and ran a play. So, like I said, I don't know why we ain't called a timeout, but I know. I mean, we was on the ball so fast. So.
I hope everyone that is watching this video had an incredible Thanksgiving with their families. I am personally so thankful for you all supporting our content and all the great individuals behind the scenes working their butts off to get you guys this content. But if there is a team that isn't thankful for being on national TV on Thanksgiving, it's the Chicago Bears. I don't think there was a worst case scenario to have unfolded for the Bears, and now it seems like there's a mutiny forming in the locker room. So before we get to the content, we are on the grind to 1 million subscribers. If you want to help support getting us to that goal, make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications. And now that we got all that out of the way, break! We had so much success on Thanksgiving with the Prize Picks free square. If you followed me on Instagram, then you would have seen my pick of Tyreek Hill, Jonnu Smith, and David Montgomery, which hit for a 5x return. Our square of Josh Jacobs and Devon Achane also converted, and my favorite part about this is getting DMs like this. One of my followers made $225 out of my picks on Thanksgiving, and I got many more DMs of you guys hitting with my picks as well. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, click on my link in the description or use my promo code Mikerophone to get $50 when you make an entry of $5 or more. We're going to be making picks for the rest of the season for the NBA and NFL, and I give away my picks for free on Instagram and Snapchat. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Going into this regular season, there's no team that had more hype than the Chicago Bears. They made improvements on the defensive side of the ball last year, trading for Montez Sweat during the 2023 trade deadline, extending him in that same season, retaining their best cornerback in Jalen Johnson. And offensively, this team got a complete makeover over the past 2 years. Whether it was swinging a huge trade to bring in DJ Moore and eventually Caleb Williams with the Carolina Panthers, or if it was trading a 4th round pick for Keenan Allen, spending a top 10 draft pick on Rome Odunze, signing DeAndre Swift in free agency, this team was expected to be the best team in the NFC North. And that wasn't that bold of a prediction. There hasn't been a quarterback in NFL history that was drafted into a better situation than Caleb Williams. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that have the opportunity to have 3 players that could technically be a wide receiver 1 on any other team. Now, don't get me wrong, but the Chicago Bears have had a lot of issues apart from Caleb Williams developing as a rookie. And this is all the stuff that went down in the offseason aside. So in this video, we're not going to be discussing the fact that Caleb Williams cried following a loss at USC. Caleb Williams' camp tried to secure an ownership stake of the Chicago Bears before he got drafted there. Caleb Williams pretended that he didn't know who Keenan Allen was as he walked past him, or anything of that sort. Because at the end of the day, it's Caleb Williams' rookie season, and I have to admit, so far there was some bad, but he's been getting better each and every week. I know it's kind of difficult because when you compare Caleb Williams to Jaden Daniels, it's very clear who's having the better season. There's no question about it that Caleb Williams has the better team. Jaden Daniels doesn't really have any solid individuals to throw the football to, apart from Terry McLaurin, and he currently has a 68% completion percentage, but Jaden Daniels has a significantly better coaching staff than Caleb Williams does, with Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator, Dan Quinn as his head coach. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams' head coach is Matt Eberflus, and his offensive coordinator got fired in the middle of the season, primarily because of all the hints that the Chicago Bears were making about him.
Bears fans are super interested about the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. What can you tell them about who they just hired, try to get this offense where it needs to go?
This is live. Good luck to y'all. I mean, he's a great person, great offensive coordinator. I was very lucky to have him.
I mean, DJ Moore has without a doubt been one of the most outspoken wide receivers on the Chicago Bears, whether it was going all the way back to the offseason last year when he said that he didn't see a need to draft Caleb Williams and that the Bears should retain Justin Fields.
Somebody asked me that last week. I'm still like, bruh, where are y'all seeing this? Like, what makes him not the quarterback for the Chicago Bears right now? I get y'all got everybody coming out. What, it's like 2 of them. I don't think they better than Justin, so they cool.
Or whether or not if Matt Eberflus lost the locker room.
Has Matt Eberflus lost his football team?
I want to say no. The message yesterday was that we know we 4-4 now. It's just like being 0-0. But you just got to go out there and start stacking wins how we did. And that's the best thing we can do is win.
There's even been some microaggressions here and there, which maybe I've been reading a little bit too into. I mean, look at when he shoulder checked Caleb Williams against the Arizona Cardinals and, of course, walked off the field in the middle of the play. Now, of course, DJ Moore even rationalized why he did this.
Tweaked ankle. I was coming back because I seen Caleb scrambling and ankle went in and out. I was already couldn't stop, so my momentum took me out of bounds and then I just walked off. Which the noise, I hear it, seeing it, but he didn't care. So it is what it is.
And of course, DJ Moore would comment on Shane Waldron getting fired.
Probably like when we want to call, it's probably like a drive too late, or like we wanted to make adjustments and we just wait till halftime to make it, and then we don't get the same look. So I can see what he mean by that right there.
Now, this is going to be very significant later on because it'll give you an idea of where the Chicago Bears locker room is currently. Things have been disastrous for the Chicago Bears. There's no sugarcoating it. The Bears have been on a 6-game losing streak, and prior to their loss against Minnesota, Caleb Williams hasn't thrown for a touchdown since the Chicago Bears faced off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But his play has gotten significantly better. I mean, against the Minnesota Vikings, Caleb Williams led a heroic drive to send the game into overtime. But it's the way these games end that are really starting to make fans wonder, is coaching starting to hold back the Chicago Bears? And it's one of those things where if a team owner keeps getting embarrassed by his team, he's definitely going to consider making a coaching change. It's the same thing going on with the New York Giants. The Giants were on the off-season edition of Hard Knocks, and there's all these clips of John Mara saying he's not gonna sleep at night if Saquon Barkley goes to a division rival.
Saquon thing.
I just got a text that Chicago's driving the price up and Philly's out. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm gonna have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia, I'll tell you that. Most popular player we have by far.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, not only does Saquon Barkley go to a division rival, but Saquon Barkley is having the best season of his career. He's outgained every season he's played for the New York Giants, and the season isn't even over yet. There's 7 games left. Barkley is a legitimate MVP candidate, and the Giants look doubly as stupid for letting Daniel Jones walk. And when a team gets embarrassed like this consistently, obviously ownership is not going to like it, and they're going to consider making a huge change. And the same thing could be said about the Chicago Bears. During this 6-game losing streak, the Bears have lost in the most tragic or embarrassing ways possible. For instance, against the Washington Commanders, they lost via a game-winning Hail Mary. Against the Green Bay Packers, they were set up to win the game. All they needed to do is make this field goal, but it was blocked. Then they scored 9 points against the Arizona Cardinals. They only managed to score 3 points against one of the worst teams in the NFL. Then things started to turn around. They had that incredible game against the Minnesota Vikings to force overtime, and they got the ball first, but Caleb Williams held the ball for too long and then got sacked. And as a result, they had to give the ball back to the Vikings and they would eventually lose. But nothing was worse than what happened during Thanksgiving. And man, if ownership was considering whether or not they should fire Matt Eberflus, I think they have everything they need at this point. So once again, the Chicago Bears played an incredible game. I mean, they're hanging in there with the best team in the NFC. This was a monumental game for Caleb Williams. He was able to break the NFL rookie record for most pass attempts without an interception. And although the Bears were terrible in the first half, primarily because they weren't able to control the time of possession, with fans even commenting how Shabuzi traveled more yards in the halftime show than the Bears did in the first half, and the fact that Shabuzi spent more time on the field than the entire Bears offense, which is a little over than 6 minutes, Caleb Williams and the Bears came out swinging in the second half. First finding Keenan Allen for a touchdown. The Detroit Lions would score again via Sam Laporta's second touchdown, but Caleb Williams would then find Keenan Allen again in the beginning of the fourth, before Caleb Williams would throw an absolute beauty to DJ Moore to put the Bears within striking distance. The game was now a 3-point game, and honestly, you gotta give credit to the Bears defense and Caleb Williams, who is improving each and every single week. The Bears would then force a 3-and-out on the next drive, so they had the opportunity to potentially tie the game or take the lead. What do you think ends up happening? Do you think A, Caleb Williams throws an interception on a potential game-winning drive? Do you think B, the Detroit Lions force a 4-and-out? C, Caleb Williams scores a touchdown? Or D, Matt Eberflus finds a way to this game up? Well, if you chose D, then you are correct, because we have never seen something like this before. This is much more challenging than people are making it out to be, because here's the situation that the Chicago Bears are in. Caleb Williams gets sacked on second down, making it 3rd and 26. The Bears only have one timeout left, and they opt to hurry up and try to get a play call off as soon as humanly possible. But there's no urgency from this offense at all whatsoever. If you take a look, the Chicago Bears need to get to this line in order to kick a field goal. There's 14 seconds left on the ball. Now, the problem here is it's 3rd and 26, so the chances of you converting this are slim to none. The hope is obviously for you to be able to call a timeout and then call a play where your wide receiver can get out of bounds to bring out the field goal unit. But if you get tackled in bounds, then of course the clock is going to run once you call a timeout. So what Matt Eberflus opts to do is to not use his timeout here, hurry up and call a play, which the Chicago Bears aren't really organized enough to pull off. And after 20 seconds run off of the clock, Caleb Williams realizes that time is running out and then heaves a deep ball to Rome Odunze, and the game is over. The Chicago Bears then walk into the locker room with the timeout in their pocket and get embarrassed on national TV. The thing that was even more embarrassing about this is Matt Eberflus didn't really dive into why he did it, which as a fan of football and a student of the game, I understood why you did it. But when you take a look at Matt Eberflus's response, and then you also take a look at how his players are talking about this loss, you can tell he's lost the locker room. Watch what the incredibly outspoken DJ Moore has to say about this.
But I don't think we huddled. We just got right back on the ball and ran a play. So, like I said, I don't know why we ain't called a timeout, but I know. I mean, we was on the ball so fast. So
now on top of that, according to Dove Kleiman, which of course recently I don't know how I feel about him as a source, but according to him, Keenan Allen said, "I feel like we did enough as players to win the game." But I think Eberflus could have saved some face here if in the post-game press conference he came out and said,
"Hey, everybody, look at the situation I'm in. It's 3rd and 26. If I call a timeout now and one of my players gets tackled in bounds, then we're not going to have enough time to bring out the field goal unit, so I opted to hurry up, try to pick up the yardage needed to get my kicker out there, and then opt for a timeout."
But Matt Eberflus didn't say that. Instead, he just gave some vague, generic response like this.
Yeah, I like what we did there. Again, once it's under 7, you're gonna call timeout there, or actually under 12, and then really you don't have an option, because it's 3rd to 4th, you got to throw it into the end zone then. So to me, it's I think we handled it the right way. Didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
Which is now leaving fans to just be more pessimistic about Matt Eberflus as a coach. Look, the fact that there was 32 seconds left on the clock and you weren't able to either get one play off and then call a timeout, or call a timeout and get a couple more plays off, in of itself is enough reason for concern. It shows complete ineptitude in a crucial football situation. And Hall of Fame head coach Jimmy Johnson said it himself.
In 70 years of coaching at all 3 levels, I've never seen dysfunction cost a team an opportunity to win the game. Eberflus saw that they were off track and there was dysfunction. He should have called timeout.
Chain of command was Eberflus has the ability to say, "Call timeout."
Call timeout.
At the end of the day, given the talent of this roster, given the fact that they have a quarterback that is truly special on a rookie scale contract, a remarkable offense that definitely needs some help on the offensive line, and a defense that was more than capable of keeping them in this game, we had a rough idea what we could expect the next day. Now, Caleb Williams did his best to stand up for his coach.
Surprised? We can call a timeout. We cannot. Surprise, I'm not going to say surprise or not. My job is to go out there and make plays. My job is to get everybody lined up, and that's it, win games. So didn't do that today. I could have gave Rome maybe a little bit more of a jump ball in that situation instead of maybe trying to throw it over the shoulder or anything like that. But, with that situation, that's not what happened.
The play should have been, hey, quick pass down the middle, get down as soon as possible, call a timeout. But they weren't able to get the play off in time, so it just made everyone look really, really bad. Regardless, the Chicago Bears did something dastardly this morning when they decided to let Matt Eberflus give his Zoom interview.
Like I said, I'm just going to be working on finishing up this game, doing a good job of evaluating that, our after action report like we always do, and then I'm going to be working into San Francisco. Conversations we'll have, and again, I'm confident that I'll be working on to San Francisco and getting ready for that game.
And then the Chicago Bears announced that Matt Eberflus wasn't going to have the opportunity to prepare against San Francisco because very shortly after they announced that they were firing their head coach, Matt Eberflus. What's interesting about this is they're elevating their offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown, to serve as interim head coach. So in a span of 17 days, Thomas Brown went from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach. And a lot of people are poking fun at this, but I honestly think this is one of those instances where it's a no-brainer to fire your head coach, especially given where the Chicago Bears are. Look, let's take the embarrassment aside. Over the past 6 games, the Bears have come up with revolutionary ways to lose games, whether it was dropping 3 points against the worst team in the NFL, getting their field goals blocked, or not calling a timeout with 30 seconds left to go in the game. And that's obviously a game management issue, and that falls on the shoulders of Matt Eberflus. But something that's been lost in all of this is how well Caleb Williams has been playing ever since their offensive coordinator Shane Waldron has been fired. I mean, in Caleb Williams' first 9 games with Shane Waldron, he had 198.3 pass yards per game, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and an 81.0 passer rating. Ever since the Bears elevated Thomas Brown, he's been averaging 275.7 yards per game, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 99.2 passer rating. And the Chicago Bears clearly understand the urgency here. They saw Shane Waldron failing their once-in-a-generation type QB, so they fired him. They saw Matt Eberflus failing him in late-game situations, so they fired him. They clearly understand what they have here. This isn't like when the New York Jets prematurely fired Robert Saleh. This isn't even like when Frank Reich was fired by the Carolina Panthers last season. This had to be done. Not because the Chicago Bears have playoff hopes this year, but because it seems like they may already have their head coach of the future in Thomas Brown. He's already improved Caleb Williams considerably, so you really need to spend the rest of the season to figure out whether or not he is the guy that could lead the Bears for the foreseeable future, or if the Bears should pursue someone like Ben Johnson or Bill Belichick or Kyle Shanahan if he gets fired, which I really hope he doesn't, but we have a separate video coming out on that tomorrow. At the end of the day, this is one of those instances where firing your head coach is a very good thing. It needs to be done, and honestly shows incompetence if you don't do it, because the Bears understood what they had in Matt Eberflus. It was clear that that old regime was holding them back. They clearly have a very talented team on paper, and it seems like they may have a talented head coach already on the roster. Now, there's a huge difference between being a good passing game coordinator, a good offensive coordinator, and a good head coach, and a lot of that is going to depend on Thomas Brown's ability to manage games, which is something that Matt Eberflus clearly failed at doing. But at the end of the day, man, I hate to see Matt Eberflus get fired, but then you remember that these head coaches make a lot of money for doing absolutely nothing after they get fired, and I'm excited to see Thomas Brown get his opportunity because I think it was the right move. If you're a Bears fan, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about all this? Do you think Eberflus should have finished off the season? I personally don't think there's a single person that believes that, but someone that had everything change for them, and you may have missed this because we uploaded this video in the middle of the Miami Dolphins game versus the Green Bay Packers last night, but everything just changed for Bryce Young. He just had the best game of his career, and I wanted to finally make some positive content on him, so I'll leave a link to the end screen and how he improved, and I'll meet you guys there. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.